My name is Buddhi Akhil. I have secured All India rank 566 in this year UPSC CSE 2021. So I'm here with UPSC Time YouTube channel to guide you and to share my strategies and to share some of my personal experiences with you. I have a list of questions with me. Before answering your questions in the latter part of this video, I would like to answer these questions first, which will be asked by most of the aspirants themselves. So, introduction about myself. As I told earlier, myself Akhil Buddhi. I am from Siddipet district of Telangana. I used to live here in my village itself, and I have prepared from my village itself. That is about myself. I try to be in both English and Hindi, but since I am from Telangana, I could not speak much in proper Hindi. So try to please adjust. Coming back to my UPSC journey, I have given 3 attempts so far. Uh, in my first attempt, I failed to clear prelims, and in my second attempt, I failed to clear mains, and in my third attempt, finally able to clear all the stages of this examination. Okay, throughout my journey I try to prepare as my own, since I can't move back to Delhi because I am very close to my family and I would like to prepare along with them with their emotional support. So that is about my preparation journey and about myself. Coming back to my prelims preparation, since prelims is just 100 days away from now, every one of you might be feeling very frustrated, anxious, and fearful about the prelims. But what we have to do is to have a proper strategy. So my strategy for prelims is to prepare static comprehensively and give due respect to the static part. uh, when we are preparing for the prelims now, we tend to give too much focus to the current affairs, PT 365, and we tend to uh, study randomly. Rather, what we should be doing is to fix our book list properly, then revise them again and again as many times as we can. Then we move back to the current affairs and try to prepare them in a safer level. Okay. uh, if you ask me about my GS1 strategy in prelims, my strategy is to attempt 70 to 80 questions with a decent accuracy. For you, it may not be suitable. For someone, it may be like they have high accuracy, but they tend to attempt low. And for someone, it may be like high accuracy, but low accuracy, but they tend to attempt 90 plus. So while practicing for test series itself, try to figure it out what suits you, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses. If your strength is accuracy, then don't attempt too many questions in the prelims examination. And if your strength is not the accuracy but more of logical guessing, and try to, in that case, try to attempt as many questions as possible. In fact, more than 90 questions I would recommend. Okay, so rather than going blindly and experimenting on the examination day itself, try to find what you are in the test series itself. So that is one thing about the examination strategy of GS1. And coming to the preparation strategy, as I told earlier, fix your static resources first, then follow one good current affair source, then revise as much as you can, then practice as much as you can. So that is about the prelim strategy. Coming back to the CSAT strategy, if you look at very closely from 2019, prelims is getting CSAT is getting tougher and tougher, more tougher again. So what we should do, we should not neglect CSAT. We should give due respect to it. I would suggest you to attempt both the English comprehension and maths and reasoning part as well. And if you want to prepare it, how should we prepare that? If that is your question, I would recommend give at least half an hour to 1 hour daily for CSAT, and that will be enough. आप क्या आप ये कर सकता है कि वन डे आप इंग्लिश प्रैक्टिस कीजिए एंड वन डे आप मैथ्स प्रैक्टिस कीजिए. If you do like this, your both this English comprehension and maths will be on decent level, and you will not be faced difficulty in the examination if one part becomes more tougher than the compared to the other part. So that is about it. Then I'll be coming back to my book list. for the both prelims and mains. As every topper suggests, I will also suggest you to have a consolidated book list for both the prelims and mains combinedly, and don't separate prelims preparation from the mains preparation. So my book list goes like this. For art and culture, I read NCRT Fine Art, class 11th. For ancient and the medieval India, I followed new NCRTs only, and I have made Evernote notes of those NCRTs. For modern India, I have followed Spectrum book. Then for geography, since my optional is also geography, I didn't focus too much on the geography part for the prelims especially. But for the general candidates, NCRTs will suffice. From class 6 to class 12th, you should be doing NCRTs, and it is better if you can combine those NCRTs with the current affairs part. So that is about geography. Then coming back to the polity, uh, I recommend, I strongly recommend one book, NCRT class 11th, Indian Constitution at Work. That is a very good book that will give you a head start to start the polity preparation. And for polity, standard book is Lakshmikant, as everyone suggests. Try to revise it as much as you can, and try to prioritize few chapters such as uh, the constitutional bodies, constitutional scheme, then federal system, parliamentary system, president, governor. These chapters should be prioritized compared to the latter chapters such as election system, non-constitutional bodies, regulatory bodies, etc. So coming back to international relations, for international relations, I think current affairs will suffice. You don't need to have a specific book to refer it. So cover your current affairs from the monthly magazines or PT 365 or from your newspaper readings. Then next is economy. For economy, I followed Mrunal personally. You can follow any other good book or any other magazine which is available in the market, but don't neglect economic survey and budget. Okay. In fact, I made short notes out of budget every single time, and that helped me in both prelims and mains. In prelims, if they ask about any scheme, that will be helpful, and in mains, to quote some data, to quote some scheme, that will be enough. And for science and technology, I didn't follow any particular book. Rather, I read NCRT class 6 to class 10th, and I followed current affairs, and I used Google extensively for science and technology. Since they are also asking many emerging terms and many emerging technologies, it is better to have a look at new technologies through YouTube or some internet search. So that is about it. For environment and ecology, I have figured out that questions are coming again and again from the environment and ecology section. So we should be preparing in detail for environment and ecology also. Since my optional is geography, I went depth into environment and ecology. But for the general people, it is good to follow sources such as Shankar IAS or PMF IAS. It will be your choice, but I recommend PMF IAS for uh, environment and ecology. And for ethics, I didn't refer any book again. I followed the this Google approach, like Google the keyword, then note down a definition, then think about an example from the administrative perspective, and think about an example from personal perspective. Okay, so that is about my book list. Coming back to my optional is geography. Uh, I followed standard book list for geography, like Majid Hussain for Indian geography, then Majid Hussain again for models and theories, and for the perspective, I referred Adi Dikshit and physical geography book. Then I don't think it is a right platform to speak too much about optional book list. And if you want to have my optional book list, you can text me on my Instagram account. My Instagram handle is instagram.com/Akhil, AKHIL dot BUDDHI Buddhi. You can text me anytime. I'll try to give my geography book list. Okay. So coming back to the mains, mains is a very important stage of this examination. It decides your uh, seat, and it decides your cadre and everything. So we have to be very, 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 very cautious with the mains preparation, and we have to put in our best efforts when it comes to mains examination. For mains examination, every aspirant's doubt is to how to start answer writing, how to make notes, and how to revise, etc. So I'm going to address them one by one. First of all, when it comes to how to make notes for the mains examination, we should be appreciate the fact that UPSC has provided with a very detailed syllabus. There are so many keywords and so much of detailed parts are there. What we need to do, we need to stick the syllabus on our study table, and we need to identify what are there in directly mentioned in the syllabus. On priority basis, we should first make notes for those topics which are directly mentioned in the syllabus. For example, urbanization as a topic directly mentioned in the syllabus of GS paper 1. We need to prepare at least 1 to 2 pages notes on the urbanization topic. Then we have to move in that way, and once we finish this first layer of note making, then we have to dig deep into the current affairs. Then we have to make notes on the peripheral topics. Urbanization is directly mentioned in the syllabus, but urban green bonds, urban financing, urban development financing, smart cities, which is not directly mentioned in the syllabus. For that, we need to prepare notes in our second run. Okay, so that is about note making. Note making you can do offline, or you can do it on apps such as Evernote, Google Notes also. Both are good, and there are advantages and disadvantages in each method of note making. So you can choose any one of them according to your interest and according to your personal suitability. Coming to the answer writing, uh, everyone is fearful about this answer writing because many times we read so many things, we read so much, but we fail to put that thing into the paper. So for that, we need to practice answer writing, and we need to do that extensively and over a period of time. It will not come to you miraculously in one night and in one day. We have to be patient with the answer writing, and we have to start slow. Over a period of time, with persistent efforts, answer writing will come to you naturally. My method of doing answer writing is to uh, collect some random question papers from the market, collect their model answers also, write those tests in my home itself, then try to compare my answers with the model answers of coaching institutions. While doing this, you will get to know that there are so many good things which are there in the model answers, and you will also appreciate the fact that there are also unique things which are there in your answers. So try to identify what are the unique qualities of your answer writing. Don't lose that charm. Note those unique points somewhere, and try to read them again and again, so that you produce your own unique points in the actual mains examination. And be humble enough to accept that your answers will be decent or average or below average many times. So during those cases, try to get points from the model answers, and try to note them down in your notes, and try to revise them again and again, so that you can produce those quality points in the mains actual examination. So you effectively, by this method, you are combining your unique methods and your unique points along with the best points which are given by the coachings. So that will give you a competitive advantage. So that is about answer writing. And for those people who can't afford test series, outright test series which are available in the with the coachings, you don't have to join them properly. Okay, you can choose other methods also. You can practice your own also, and you can also practice with your friends, seniors, mentors, etc. But those who can afford, it is good to join the coachings, and it is good to join the test series of coachings. Rather, I stand correct myself. But the joining a test series is not enough. You have to evaluate your answers by yourself also, in addition to the evaluation done by the coachings. So that is about mains answer writing, note making, and revision. Okay, the next question is how to prepare for interview or personality test. Uh, After clearing mains examination, we will be prompted to fill a detailed application form, part 2, before the interview process. So before filling that, be very careful. Try to give the actual details only. Don't try to bluff on any hobbies, any medals, any prizes, or even with your graduation percentage. Try to fill those details as honestly as you can. And once you fill those details, when you get the DAF, identify each keyword mentioned in the DAF. Then note those topics in your registers or online notes, whatever it may be. Then try to guess or preempt the questions which might be asked from those keywords. And once you do that, you will be ready with a bunch of questions. Then prepare answer to those questions, and let's hope that interview panel might pick up those keywords and might pick up those probable questions and ask questions from them. And there is also second part to the interview preparation, that is to prepare for the current affairs and opinion based questions. Try to be balanced with your opinions and try to be well rounded with your opinions. And when interview panel given you the new perspective, don't try to resist them and don't try to argue with them, rather accept that your knowledge is limited. And when they are giving you new perspective, try to add those perspectives into your answers and answer accordingly. So this will solve the majority of problem of interview. And once you get into the interview stage, there will be flurry of mock tests you will be giving, and there will be flurry of interactions you will be having with your seniors, and one-to-one interactions with all coaching heads and retired bureaucrats and serving bureaucrats also. They will help you enough. Okay, the most important part of this preparation is to have a look at the syllabus, and other important part is to have a look at the previous year questions. So the actual question is to how okay, how much previous year questions analysis will help in this examination? Uh, I would suggest a lot. I'll say a lot. Why? Because if you look at the previous year questions and if you see them properly, you will get to know that to what extent UPSC is asking questions on a particular topic, and how much depth it is covering and how much breadth it is covering. How far you from the standards which have been examining by the UPSC. So just have a look at the previous year questions, try to identify what are the topics they are constantly focusing upon, and try to gauge the depth and the breadth. Then while preparing, try to adjust your standards of preparation to those standards. So that will help you to remain in a consistent course of action, and that too in a right direction. So to summarize this thing, previous year questions essentially act as a compass along with the previous year, along with the syllabus. Okay, another important question is that कि UPSC में coaching कितनी important है? I would say that it is as important as we make out of it. For someone self study suits better, and for someone coaching suits better, and someone may afford the coaching and someone may not afford it. So I would say that don't exclusively rely on the coachings even if you join in it. And coaching should not be an excuse for you to not to clear this examination. If you have the willpower and if you have the consistency and if you can work in an efficient manner, coaching will not play that much of a big role. Next question is UPSC में NCERT कितनी important है? I already told NCERTs are very important uh, because they will prepare a base for you to play with. Okay, once you have the command on NCERTs, you can gauge the standard textbooks properly and you can understand the current affairs properly. So don't neglect NCERTs. Even if you are reading from someone's notes, try to just read NCERTs couple of times so that your concepts will become stronger and your fundamentals will be clear. Okay, coming back to the current affairs again, as we discussed earlier, current affairs are important, but compared with the static, current affairs are not that much important. Having said this, we should not ignore current affairs also because they do play some role. Okay, for that, I'll be discussing this. What is the source of the current affairs? How many months current affairs should be covered, and how to make notes out of it. Okay, for me, my source of current affairs has always been the Hindu newspaper. I used to read the Hindu newspaper in the first 2 hours of my day itself. Okay, I used to prioritize my newspaper reading itself. One, because it open up so many dimensions and your mind will be ready to grasp uh, different dimensions throughout the day. And the second, it will make you agile. So when you are reading newspaper, you will be going through different subjects and different kinds of newses. So your mind will be ready and your mind will become more receptive. So that's why I always prioritize newspaper, and I used to read newspaper in my first 2 hours of my day itself. Okay, then how to make notes out of it. uh, Before going to this, I would like to say one algorithm using which I used to read the newspaper. If you have any doubts about how to read newspaper, what to read in newspaper and what not to read in newspaper, just open up the newspaper, try to link a particular article to any part of the syllabus. If you can if you can able to make this connection, then that article is important. For example, if there is an article on president's veto power, try to link up this president veto power article to some part of the syllabus, and you will be able to connect this to the GS2 syllabus. So that article is important. For example, there is a crime happened in some remote city and it is an isolated crime. Try to connect this article to some part of the syllabus. If you can't able to do that, then it is not enough, then it is not important. Okay, using this algorithm, I always use it to uh, differentiate what to read and what not to read in the newspaper. Okay. Next part is how to make notes out of it. Just one thing is that don't try to copy paste whatever there in the article to your notes. Read the article, understand it, process the information, then only try to add that into your notes. And in this also, you can do two types of notes. One is handwritten notes or digital notes. I used to do my notes in Evernote itself. I used to make PDFs and I used to revise from itself. So if you want to have that one, you can text me on Instagram. I'll provide you the necessary links for my current affair notes. Okay, I'll quickly go through other peripheral questions. And the next question is that uh, how much magazines are important? They are important, but uh, cost to benefit ratio is not that good. So I would only recommend you to go through them very, very, very selectively and try to do only editorial pages of those magazines and don't try to spend too much on it, because you are already covering so much current affairs from the newspaper itself and magazines, monthly magazine itself. The next most important question is that sir, we are preparing and also working. So how can we cover newspaper and magazines? So one thing you can do, if you are a whole-time aspirant, if you are a full-time aspirant, don't compromise with the newspaper reading. uh, you should read your newspaper. And those who are working, I understand that you cannot read newspaper for 2 hours or 90 minutes, whatever. So you can rely on the monthly magazines of any coaching institution. That trade-off we can do. Okay, this is also again the most important, most asked question. So, how many hours we should be reading? I would say that 6 to 8 hours of productive study is enough. If you can study more, that is very good. If you can't study that much of time, try to improve your daily routine planning and try to improve stamina a bit. Then you will be able to read 6 to 8 hours comfortably. Okay, coming back to the discussion of timetable, for some people making timetable works. For some people making timetable will not work. Okay, for those who for those who for those who could not stick to the timetable, I recommend not to make timetables. Rather, before going to the bed, think about this: like how many hours did I read in today? So if your answer is 6 to 8 hours, then you are done. And if your answer is not 6 to 8 hours or less than that, then make sure that next day you will be reading extra number of hours. Okay, but one thing is that making timetable is not necessary to clear UPSC examination. Everyone has their own strength and weaknesses, and everyone has their own personal traits and personal traits and personal preferences. So it is better to follow your own strategy. uh, if timetables don't suit you, don't force timetables on yourself. Yeah, Aditi, yes, management people can give UPSC. To give UPSC, the basic qualification is to have a graduation. Okay, so you can give UPSC. Okay, is it necessary to go Delhi to prepare for UPSC? So with this internet era and the internet boom in India, I don't think shifting back to Delhi is a very important and very necessary step to clear this examination. If I can tell my own story, I never stepped out of my village. Okay, I always prepared from my village, because as I told earlier, I have close affinity with my family and I need their emotional support in this tough journey. Okay, so shifting to Delhi is not recommended also because of various reasons. And if you can afford and if you want to go to Delhi, you can go back. Okay, one question from the chart is that how to prepare maps and how to cover maps. So people usually uh, cover maps through the wall stickers and wallpapers, and they stick so many maps in their rooms. Okay, but how to effectively study them is an important thing. So I recommend this method. Be, just fix 15 to 20 minutes per day for the maps, and before going to the map itself, try to identify some themes. Like I get up today and I want to read map for 20 minutes now. So what should I do? I'll do mapping of rivers today. So go to the map, purposefully search where are the rivers and what are the rivers going through which states, and in which ocean they are draining into. So have a purpose before going to the map itself. Don't go to the map then search for the purpose. I recommend try to frame some random questions before going to the map, then go see the map and try to answer your questions through the map. That will be an effective strategy, and you will be able to memorize so much of data with ease. Okay, the next question is how to do revision. Revision should be on daily basis. What I used to do, I used to read newspaper for the first 2 hours of my day, and for the next 1.5 hour, I used to revise only. So you may revise whatever you wanted to do. If prelims is near, you will be revising on the basis of topics, and if there is mains which is coming earlier, then you will be reading based on the syllabus, based on the papers, and based on the test series schedule also. So have a fixed schedule for the revision. Every day try to revise on the same slot so that it will become a routine and you will not be procrastinating too much. Okay, what advice would you give to new aspirants? I would say that for this preparation, dedication and efficiency is more important. Dedication helps you to be consistent, and efficiency makes you to cover the syllabus properly. If you can combine both this dedication and efficiency, that will be a deadly combination. Okay, I have finished with the most asked question sent by the chat. Now I'll be taking up your live questions. And if you have any prominent live questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Yes, my daily routine used to be I used to wake up late in the morning. I will admit that I used to wake up late in the morning. Then I used to read newspaper for 2 hours. Then I used to take 10 to 15 minutes of break. Then I used to revise 1.5 hour. Then I used to make a lunch for between 1 to 2, and from 2 to 5 I used to revise one big subject. I used to term it as slot 1. For the big subject I used to do that subject. Then from 5 to 6:30, I used to do exercise, yoga, and meditation. From 6:30, I used to start again for the slot 2, 6:30 to 8 9. I used to term it as slot number 2, big subject. Then, so I used to cover two big subjects per day, slot 1 and slot 2. Then after dinner, from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. So I used to do dinner between 9 to 10 p.m. Then from 10 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. I used to do slot 3 for minor subject. So major subjects used to be polity, economy, environment, and geography, history. And minor subjects used to be international security, international relations, internal security, and science and technology. Those kind of subjects. Okay, that used to be my daily routine. Okay, what are the components to secure high marks in essay writing? For essay writing, UPSC already given you some criteria. You should have those basic components in your essay writing. That is logical coherence, logical flow, and staying close to the subject without any deviation. If you can ensure this thing, you will secure good marks. Okay, I would say high marks, but you will at least secure good marks. But if you want to secure high marks, you should be putting some emotions into your essay, and you should be having an ease in your answer, in your essay, so that examiner won't feel that like I'm reading essay. Rather, he will be feeling that I'm reading some story and this is going so good. So in those cases, you will be getting high marks. So how to start preparation as a beginner? First thing you should be doing is to see some toppers blogs and see some topper stocks. Then prepare one consolidated book list. Once you have those consolidated book list, then in that book list, try to start from the NCRTs itself. As I told earlier, NCRTs will prepare a base for you. Using that base, you can read standard books. Using that base, you should be able to read the newspaper. So prepare the base first, that is to prepare NCRTs. And I also recommend don't start reading newspaper from the day one itself, because you can't understand it much and it will take a lot of time. So once you finish NCRTs, you can start standard books as well as newspaper simultaneously. So that's how you should be starting your preparation as a beginner. So how to tackle with new set of options in prelims question paper in those 2 hours? We should appreciate that every year UPSC inventing something. So every time UPSC will come with its own bag of tricks. So better not to think too much about those options, about those new set of questions. Rather, we should be doing our basics properly. That is to prepare the standard books, prepare notes, and being prepared with the consolidated and concise notes, and practicing the test papers effectively rather than not just for the sake of test practice. So th- that practice will make you handle these questions with ease. Online paper or offline paper, which is better? I think what is available to you should be preferred. In my case, in our village we don't get the offline paper, so that I need to adapt to the situation. I need to read online newspaper itself. If you have the access to offline paper, there is no stopping you from picking the offline paper also. This is a good question. How to manage time while writing GS papers? So in mains, we don't get adequate time to write answers. But if we can plan our papers well, and if we can attempt questions using some strategy, we will be able to finish the papers at least. Okay, with some compromised quality, we will be able to finish GS papers. I used to identify the six well-known questions of mine, and I used to okay, I used to attempt them in my first 1 hour. Then I used to attempt seven half-known question in the second hour. Then I used to to attempt seven not well known questions in the latter part of the last 1 hour. So as to divide my entire 3 hours of GS mains into three parts. So 1 hour, first 1 hour for the well known questions, and next 1 hour for half known questions, and the next 1 hour for least known questions. Okay. So try to give some extra minutes or extra seconds to the well known questions, and try to compensate these extra minutes in those questions which you don't have much idea. So that's how I use it to manage my time while writing GS papers. Okay, my interview experience was very much, I would say, very surreal. I enjoyed that journey a lot because I remember each and every minute of my interview experience. Uh, from the gate of UPSC to the chairman's panel and to the gate of UPSC, I remember everything. So one thing I would like to narrate some story about this interview experience. They are very cordial. They in fact given me lot of hints. They in fact discussed me so many things and told me so many things also. Okay. Uh, I like to take this question. Now I'm in graduation first year. How can I start and what I do this time? Okay, so for those who are in the graduation first year and the second years, try to be serious with your graduation first. Then think of this case scenario, like if there is no UPSC in next 2 years, you should be able to make a career out of your graduation. Ensure this first. Once you ensure that this thing, then try to think about UPSC. Okay, I recommend you to switch to UPSC in third or fourth year of your graduation. That will be the better stage. But before that, try to at least secure a living out of your graduation subject. So I have already answered about what to read, what not to read in the newspaper. If you can trace your newspaper article to some topic mentioned in the syllabus, that article should be written. That article should be read. And if you can't trace that this article to any part of your syllabus, it is better to leave that article. Okay, I think I have answered most of your questions. And if you have any more questions, you can always text me through the Instagram, which is my handle is akhil.buddhi, akhil.buddhi. I'll happy to answer your questions, and I'll be more than happy to share my resources also with you. Thanks for giving this time, and have a great day.